James is going to break down why aliens do exist, why they're coming here, and I mean, he's got it all. And one of the most compelling pieces of evidence to prove these theories.
Yes.
I would call it, because people go, well, what's the one case? What's the one photograph?
We want to hear all.
We have really good, we have really good photographs. Because people go, where's the good photograph? It's like, well, you want to start in 1947? Do you want to go to 1950? Do you want to go to the 60s? And I could say, okay, how would you define a good photograph of a UFO? Points of reference, multiple eyewitnesses, broad daylight. Sounds pretty good. McMinnville, Oregon, 1950. Paul Trent and his wife Evelyn took 2 or 3 snapshots of a disc over their house in McMinnville, Oregon. Very good, man. And it was subjected to just so much scientific analysis, and the witnesses to the day they died maintained this thing and how it flew and all that stuff. Very good case. McMinnville, Oregon, right there. So
and this isn't like a doctored photo. Keep in mind,
hell no. These were broken.
These things as a comedian with a level of skepticism and
cynicism. As you should.
And you also don't believe in anything.
Yeah. As you should. But this case was dissected. They wanted so badly to debunk this case, and they couldn't. It's a really, really good case. You got, you'll see multiple prints.
What year is this?
This is 1950, McMinnville, Oregon.
Was it common to have a camera?
What's really funny? So I talked to the reporter's son who actually reported on this case. Yeah. Because when I went to publicize, I actually did a whole piece on it for a film I did called The Phenomenon. And the lawyer goes, well, you need to contact the guy that wrote the Life magazine article. I was like, he's fucking dead, dude. That was 1950. What are you talking about? He goes, well, I don't know. He's got family. I'm like, come on. This is just me documenting Life 1950. Yeah. He goes, I don't care. So I got in touch with the family. The son who wrote the Life magazine article in 1950 said that the reporter for, it was his dad, the reporter for Life magazine shows up, and he was reluctant to, the guy who took the pictures, Paul Trent, he was reluctant. He was like, well, I still have like 5 or 6 prints left to take on that camera. And the guy goes, the reporter, he goes, we'll give you a new roll. We'll give you a new camera, and we'll give you some money, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay. So he got the pictures, and the pictures were these really romantic. They were entering a contest for like the biggest zucchinis or whatever in the garden, and he had his wife, posing with this kind of like sexy kind of, and he was taking pictures of his wife. He's taking pictures of his wife, but it's just a really funny backstory to it,
The only state in the union that has legal prostitution, I think, is Nevada, right? And that's why they're going to Roswell. They're going to Brazil.
Roswell's in New Mexico. That's not Nevada.
Oh, fuck. Prostitution might be legal there, too. Don't mess up the joke, James. But also Brazil. They're going to Brazil.
Baddies down there.
You spent 17 years looking for aliens in Brazil.
I know.
How do you explain that to your girlfriend?
Yeah, I gotta go back.
Some of those bodies are built like aliens.
So I get heckled all the time, but today's heckling is so much less than it was when I first started this stuff.
That's interesting.
People used to heckle
You were quack back in the day. Now people kind of believe it, huh?
I had a neighbor, and I was really offended by this at the time, but he didn't know that. And I was in my 20s, and I was making my second documentary. I was probably 29. I was making my second documentary out of the blue at the time, and I was just about to go to Russia, and I was taking this stuff really seriously, and I was really trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. And this guy, my neighbor, is one of these guys, like Wall Street guys, all suit and tie, drove a Porsche, and we always kind of saw each other from a distance. And one time, I was living on this houseboat, and he lived next door, and we were walking down the plank. I was going towards him, he was coming my way, and he goes, "Oh, you're a UFO boy," like that. And I was like, yeah, whatever, And then he's like, "Tell me you don't actually believe in any of this shit," like that. Super offensive, right? And I was like, "No, man, I just do it for the money." And of course, I was broke, right, at the time. But that was what I was subjected to for decades. But then the 2017 article came out in the New York Times, and it revealed the secret Pentagon UFO program, and the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Harry Reid, who was behind that secret Pentagon program that started 10 years earlier, that started to kind of validate the phenomenon, for sure.
So you think everything changed in 2017?
Big time. No question. Because
I'm not familiar with that program, but I do feel like the sentiment has absolutely changed.
So basically what happened was there were a couple of people, the official story, that were investigating UFOs there was a thing, I think it was like OSAP, then it evolved into ATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. You can look it up. Yeah, there's the article. And Leslie Kane, who's a friend of mine, wrote that along with Helene Cooper and Ralph Blumenthal. But in any case, the former Senate Majority Leader at the time, Senator Harry Reid, had quietly investigated and launched an investigation 10 years earlier with Senator Inouye and another Republican senator. And I think they put away like $22 million just to do some quiet. Never was supposed to get made public. But there were two people in protest of excessive secrecy roughly 10 years later. One of them was Lou Elizondo, and he worked with this guy who was the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, Christopher Mellon, snuck some evidence that was like quasi-classified, but not quite classified. Like they knew that they found a loophole, and they literally walked it out of the Pentagon and onto the front page of the New York Times. And one of those was that now notorious Tic Tac clip.
Yes.
Where you see that little object, you know, and then obviously all the pilots that saw it too, that laid eyes on this thing.
Go on.
Anyway, and so that kind of like got mainstream media and a lot of people to realize like, holy shit, there's something going on here. And that really launched lots of investigations.
Because we couldn't explain the
propulsion,
the science behind it. Is it possible that like as we've started to experience more fascinating bits of science, object propulsion, drones, all of a sudden the idea of aliens having them becomes more understandable? Like, is that what has changed the popular sentiment?
So here's a big misconception with the phenomenon, right? So there was a guy who investigated UFOs in an official capacity for the United States Air Force from 47 to 69. His name is Dr. J. Allen Hynek. And he broke down, and this is all in the records, that I can give you multiple cases that he worked on directly with the Air Force. He actually broke down sightings to close encounters of the first, second, and third kind. This was back in the 50s, right? Because
what's the first kind?
First kind is when someone sees a UFO.
Second kind?
Second kind, someone sees a UFO and the UFO interacts with the environment. Maybe it lands, leaves prints on the ground, photographed, radar, burns someone's face, like in the case of Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters. Those were real cases that came out of Project Blue Book, the Air Force files. Close encounter of the third kind is when witnesses report entities connected to the craft. So that's Hynek right there. So the Air Force knew way back when, and I can give you some cases to justify what I'm saying. The Air Force knew what they were dealing with was not just weather balloons, misidentified aircraft, Russia, or anybody else, because of the reports coming in, some of them extremely credible, of entities connected to the craft. And these craft exhibited a technology that was light years advanced back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. No wings, no tail, no visible means of propulsion, no sound. They could hover. They could literally accelerate from a standstill to out of sight in the blink of an eye without creating a sonic boom, without any air disturbance, minimal sound. Some people heard a little humming. So if you take like the Tic Tac in 2004, I think it was, off the coast of San Diego.
This is the Tic Tac?
That might be the Tic Tac in in variations. It'll shoot off to the left.
USS Nimitz encounter.
Yeah. Okay. So you take that and you compare what the pilots saw. Okay. They'll describe this Tic Tac shaped craft with no wings, no tail, that was hovering, and the airplane was flying right at it. And then it just shoots off to the left so fast. I mean, the pilots that saw it, that wasn't on the tape, said it was like, it made a mockery out of my fastest, out of our fighter jets. Like, it literally flew rings around me. Like, Dave Fravor, if you listen to his testimony, he'll describe this object. It was like a Tic Tac. And it was shooting around over the ocean. And I also interviewed people that say that they come from space and they shoot down to sea level in less than a second. That's another story we could talk about in a minute. But they're shooting around over the ocean, like, just like he said, kind of randomly, just kind of doing this. What the hell is that? So he tells his guy in the back seat, we're going to go check this out. One of the planes, there were two planes. One of them stays kind of hovering above at whatever thousands of feet above. And Dave Fravor, the pilot, says he did a corkscrew dive down towards it because he was going to go check it out, get some eyes on it. And he goes, damn me, man, this thing suddenly just reacted to me coming at it, and it mimicked my behavior, but in the opposite direction. Now it's coming up at me. So it's coming up, and he's going down, and they're going at each other like this, okay? And he's like, holy, that's when things like, whoa, this thing's reaction. There's an intelligence here. It's not just some random thing. And then he said, well, I know where he's coming, so I'm going to cut him off. I'm going to do a loop maneuver and just get right at him, like intersect this guy. And he said at that point, he did that loop and he was coming upon him. And he said there was this like, he's called it a tic-tac. He said there were no vents, no wings, no, what am I looking at here? What is my backseat person? What's our radar looking at? Like, what is this thing? And then he goes, James, like had I blinked, this thing took off like in the blink of an eye, just gone. Like just, I mean, 100 times faster than our jets, right? Now here's the kicker part. It goes to what's called their cap point, which is the predetermined Latin launch, which is like almost beating its chest. Like, yeah, I'm already one step ahead of you guys. I know where your Latin launch is. Like, so there's...
It goes to where their latitude and longitude.
Yeah, there's like a prearranged Latin launch before the operation goes down. You can look up CAP. It's an acronym, but I don't know what
essentially went to a point on the map that the original plane, the United States plane, was supposed to go to.
Yeah, so
which would dictate that it was aware of the information.
Yeah, which would... But so here's the crazy part. So I interviewed a United States Air Force colonel by the name of William T. Coleman. He was also a World War II pilot.
Before you move on this one. Does it have to do with this?
Very much so.
Okay, good.
So I interviewed him. He had an encounter in the 50s. And when you listen to his testimony about what he saw in terms of technology in the 50s, I think it was like 1955 over Alabama, and you compare that to the testimony from Fravor and all the other pilots, it's the same. They describe the same technology. The shape is a little different, but it's the same technology. It's exactly the same thing.